Guys, I just checked my mail. Guess what I got? Keeping 13. I got Keeping 13. If you haven't seen my reading vlog where I read Binding 13, go watch it right now because this is a reading vlog for Keeping 13 because I just got it. I'm so excited. You don't understand how excited I am. I'm literally about to read it right now, and yes, I'm on my tippy toes because I can't reach, but I am so excited. So if you haven't read this series, do not watch this video because it is going to be spoilers, and I'm so freaking excited, guys. I just want to start right now. This is a really weird intro. You'll get all the details in my first vlog. Go watch that and then come over here and watch this. I'm so excited. We just asked Shannon and Joey's mom if it was going to be the kids or the husband. She didn't answer. So Joey said he was obviously disappointed, and he goes up to her and he says, "I want you to know that I hate you more right now than I ever hated him." That's so sad. I just read chapter 1, and oh my gosh, it starts off with such a heavy chapter. So Shannon's dad is like basically beating everybody up, and he's beating Joey up to the point where he can't hardly breathe anymore. Shannon's already dying, and their little brother, I forget how to pronounce his name, but he goes at him to his neck, and he's like, "If you don't stop, I will," or whatever. And this little kid is like 9 years old. So eventually he stops, but Shannon, her heartbeat is like slowing down. She's dying. And Joey is taking her to the hospital. So that's how this book starts. Wow, is this gonna be a trip. Hey guys, ignore me. I'm babysitting right now, and Princess and the Frog is in the back. But I just read, I think it's chapter 4, and Johnny put 2 and 2 together that Shannon was getting abused by her dad. And Gibbsy was like, "Well, let me try something." He calls up Claire and he's like, "Why didn't you tell me what's going on with Shannon's dad?" And that's when they realized it was true, because she was like, "Did she tell Johnny?" So Johnny makes the decision to call 999, which is like the US's 911, and he sends them to their house. So we're gonna see what happens, but I'm pretty sure Shannon's already in the hospital, so we'll see if her dad gets arrested or not. Shannon's other brother, the one that abandoned her, has the nerve to go to the hospital and say, she said, "I need Joey, I need my brother," and he goes, "I'm your brother too." What, at this one moment you're her brother? Because you weren't her brother a couple years ago or even yesterday. That kind of pissed me off. Like, you have no right. So we just found out that Shannon's dad collapsed her lung. Collapsed her lung. That is wild. Shannon was talking to Darren, which is her older brother, and she's saying how he doesn't know her anymore, and he was listing all these things, and she was like, "I haven't done that in years." And he said that she's always wanted to travel, and she goes, "I don't want to travel the world anymore, and my ultimate ambition is to survive." That is so sad, because she's had to worry about that for so long. So Shannon's scared to go to court because she's gonna have to pay the price of when her dad comes back, is what she's thinking. And Darren goes, he has to pay Shannon. She goes, "Easy for you to say when you're not the price." It's just, this whole scene is so sad between the two brothers and Shannon. It's crazy. Anaya, you want to say hi? What are you doing? So Johnny just told Gibbsy to pick him up because he's trying to tell his parents that Shannon's in trouble by her dad and they need to help her, and they just think that he's high and hallucinating again because he was saying all this stuff when he was high, and they're not believing him. Joey and Johnny are getting in an argument because Joey didn't tell Johnny that she was getting hurt by her dad, and Johnny's really pissed off about it. Johnny's visiting Shannon in the hospital and she asked if he's okay. And he said, don't ask me that. Not when you're the one lying here. Johnny says, when did it start because of me? She goes, Dad was always paranoid, but once that picture of us was published in the paper, he had his own version of proof. He said, fuck Shannon, that was months ago. She goes, I know. He said, I made it worse for you. She says, you made it bearable. I love them so much. I love them so much. Shannon's mom just had the nerve to say that Johnny had to leave because she said so. So now she wants to act like a mom?
I never seem to be good enough for him or her or even you. They say it'll always get better, but
Guys, I'm back home from babysitting. Do you guys like my Halloween PJs? And literally, it's April. Yes, it's April. But I'm reading and Shannon's mom is like, Johnny is gonna be just like your dad. Like, he's not like him yet, but he will be. You're gonna be trapped, this and that. And Shannon's like, you remember when you said, is there ever a chance that I'll forgive you? And then she says, drive him away and the answer will be never again. So she's like, drive him away and I'll never speak to you again. Johnny's mom just said that she doesn't want him around Shannon and their family right now because Shannon's mom said something that made them worried. My hair is not okay. It's got a mind of its own. But yeah. So Johnny and Gibbs and Claire went to Shannon's house and her older brother Darren was like, you're not coming in here, you're not seeing Shannon. And Johnny was like, I am not leaving until I see her. And then eventually they see each other because Shannon comes behind Darren and hugs Johnny. Also, side note, this may be gross to some people, but I feel like there's two different people in the world. I feel like there's either people who mix all of their food and eat it, or they can't have their food touching at all. And trigger warning if you don't like it being mixed, but I'm the mixed person. That is literally mashed potatoes, peas, and hamburger helper. What? Johnny and Shannon are finally gonna get to hang out for a little bit. And then Joey pulls up, and they haven't seen Joey in a long time. They didn't know where he went after the hospital, and he gets out of this, like, I think she said it was a black Honda Civic, and he was super, super high. And apparently he used to get high a lot, and Shannon is really nervous about it. So I could see Johnny and Joey having a really, really good relationship because Joey just really opened up to Johnny about everything that happened with Shannon and how he couldn't save her and how hard it was for him. And I just think they're gonna have a really good friendship after all of this happens. Joey fell asleep at Johnny's, and Johnny's mom isn't gonna be home for a while, so Shannon is staying the night, and he calls and asks what her favorite pizza topping is and orders her a pizza. And he's like, don't worry, like, I'm gonna be ordering you food a lot, so get used to it. And he goes, tonight it is a shitty pizza because I can't drive and all the good spots in town are closed early on Mondays, but I'll do better next time. She goes, I don't need better. He says, maybe not, but you deserve better. Shannon and Johnny have been talking for a while, and Shannon goes, can I ask you a question? And Johnny said yes. She goes, are you ever gonna kiss me? And then they end up kissing. Finally, I love this book because they're actually together in it, and I'm loving it. This is so cute. Shannon said, can I ask you another question? Of course, ask away. Why do you like me? Why do I what? Like me? Why? Are you being serious? Yeah. I need to know. I just don't like you. Shannon, I love you. You love me? The first I love you where he's actually sober and not high off of his ass. Johnny's mom comes home and she's about to get Johnny in trouble when she sees Shannon and sees her face, because this is the first time she's seen her since the accident. So she gets all emotional, and then Johnny comes down the stairs, and she said, how many Lynch children is in my house right now? Like, Mom just dropped Shannon and Joey off at their house, and Johnny is very worried that she's gonna get hurt again, and she doesn't have any way to contact him, so he gave her his phone. So he doesn't have a phone anymore, but if she needs him, she can contact him. Johnny just left the house because his mom and Shannon's mom were arguing because Shannon's mom was saying how bad he was for her and to get away from her or whatever, and if she found out that he touched her, that she would call the cops on him. And this is how this chapter ends. So Miss Lynch says, don't come back here or there will be trouble. So Johnny's driving off and he goes, Shannon Lynch, I love you back. And she said, still? He says, still, like a crazy amount. And then he drives off.
Hey Mullins, Captain wants to know when you're coming in.
Hey, you know what? Tell him I'll be there sharply at go fuck yourself o'clock. Okay? If there's no traffic. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's been a while. It is now like May 1st. I went on a little trip and then I went to another trip. I went to Great Wolf Lodge with my family, and then me and Chase had to go to Tennessee for like a week and a half because his grandpa wasn't doing too well. So I'm back. I'm reading Keeping 13, and right now I'm back to where Johnny and his mom dropped off Joey and Shannon's trying to talk to her mom. She's like, I don't know why you did this to me. I don't know why you're chasing him away. And I think her mom is just so damaged that she doesn't realize that this boy is not their dad. And she's like, I promise you, like, I did the right thing. And she's like trying to convince herself that she did the right thing. And I think it's just really sad because she's so like brainwashed and so mentally exhausted that she doesn't realize what she's doing to her daughter, and she just thinks that she's keeping her safe. Okay, this part was cute. Darren is dropping off Shannon at school, and he was like, do you want me to walk you up there or whatever? And she was like, no, that's that's so embarrassing. Like, nobody wants their big brother to drop them off at school. And he goes, he smiles, and she said, what? He said, you called me your big brother. Now that was cute. I'm sorry, it was cute. So Johnny's trying to talk to Shannon, and she's kind of like shutting him out again. And he's like, he says, don't put a wall up between us. Not when you've already let me climb over it. So they just made it official that they're boyfriend and girlfriend, and he bought her a phone for her birthday. And it's pink. Come on now. So Shannon and Johnny are holding hands and they're going into the lunchroom, and Bella and everybody are staring at her, and he can tell that she's getting nervous, and he's like, let them look. They'll get bored eventually. I love him. So Shannon is talking to Claire about Gibbsy, and she's like, I don't want to get with him because I don't want him to get bored once he has me. I feel like he just wants the chase, and he just wants me because I don't give in to him, and I feel like once I do give in to him, he's gonna get bored. That's so sad because I don't think that's the case at all. But I guess I'll find out in, I think it's the 7 books, I'm pretty sure, because I think the 6 books are about Joey and his girlfriend. So I think the 7 books are about Gibbsy, I'm pretty sure. So Darren was going to pick up Shannon, and she wanted to go with Claire, and he was like, get in the car, Shannon. And she's like, no, I'm going with Claire. And it gets really like aggressive, and he's like, get in the effing car, Shannon. And he says no, and all the boys start walking up, and Claire's like, don't do anything, like, get your hands off of her, because he kind of is like trying to pull her into the car. And Johnny's like, get your hands off of her or whatever. So that escalated really quickly.
Coffee now, sir?
guys, I'm about 50% of the way through this book, and I have a couple notes that I wrote down. First of all, Gibbs paid $80 for a teddy bear for Claire when they were kids just because she wanted it, which is so cute. And when Johnny and Shannon were together, condoms fell out of Johnny's pocket because Gibbsy put them in his pocket, and they almost got in an argument over that. And they were about to sleep with each other, and Johnny's like, no, we're not doing this because you're not ready. And she was like, what do you mean I'm ready? And he goes, well, you said that we can do it if you want to. You didn't say that you wanted to, which I thought was very sweet. And Johnny is also trying to get Gibbs to ask Claire out because it's obvious that he likes her and he just needs to do it already, which I'm excited about. And then Shannon finds out that her dad is at a rehab center, and because of that they're worried that he's not going to go to jail because he did his 30 days in the rehab center. So she's all upset about that. She tells Johnny about it, and she's like, I just want to get out of here. So Johnny like starts driving, and he's like, aren't you going to ask where we're going? She says no because I trust you, which is so sweet. And they start talking, and she goes, I'm here for Johnny the boy, not Johnny the rugby player. I'll stay for both, but I'm only in love with one. That was so cute. I can't take it.
Max! Help me! I'm feeling...
And then Shannon's dad wrote a letter to all of his kids, and Shannon didn't want to read it, so Johnny read it for her just because she wanted to know what it said, but she didn't want to read it herself. So Johnny reads the letter for her, and then she's like, just get rid of it. So he burns it for her, which was so sweet. And Shannon's hanging out with her friends, like I think it's a couple days later, and they make her set up a date with Johnny. So her and Johnny go on this date, and they don't know where to go, so they just end up going to Johnny's house. And he goes, you look so fucking beautiful. Seriously, you're gorgeous. She said, thanks. It's the clothes and makeup. He goes, it's the girl. And they get a little spicy, but they almost get caught by Johnny's mom, which was wild. And Johnny ends up dropping Shannon off at her house, and Shannon's in trouble because she wasn't supposed to leave. But obviously Johnny sticks up for her, and they're still trying to push him out. Like, I think Darren is her older brother. I think that's her older brother's name. He just basically slams the door in his face. So that's all the notes I have for right now, but I'm like 50% through the book, and I'll update you guys when I have other updates. Joey is sticking up for Shannon about Johnny saying that he's not too old for her because her mom's saying that he's too old for her. And I just love Joey so much. He let her sneak out a little bit to talk to Johnny a little bit more, and I just love him. So Shannon was talking to Lizzie, and she was like, it's almost the anniversary of, I think she said her brother or her sister. And she was like, yeah, I just hate looking at that team because she always gets pissed off at Gibbsy. And I think one of the players like bullied her sister or something. I'm not quite sure, but it seems really sad, and I can't wait to learn more about that. So Johnny has been thinking about how he really wants to be with this girl like for a very long time. So he goes, what do you want from me? She said, honestly, always, everything, especially the broken parts. That's so sweet because Johnny said the same exact thing to her. I can't, and I think they're about to sleep together. This quote, guys, so they were getting down and dirty, and he found the scar that she had from when her dad almost killed her, and he was like, does it still hurt? And she kind of got like uncomfortable, like he just wanted to be with her because he felt sorry for her. And listen to this quote he says, Shannon, listen, I'm in love with you. I'm completely fucking hooked on you. So when you're hurt, it affects me. It hurts me. I can't pretend that it doesn't. But that doesn't mean that I'm with you because I feel sorry for you. It just means that I'm going to get upset when you're upset, and that when someone hurts you, I'm going to want to cause some serious harm to them in return. I'm all in, Shannon, scars and all, fucked up father and all, 150%. So Johnny and Shannon were having a really good night. They were watching a show and ordering dinner, and Darren, Shannon's brother, comes to the door and he's like, hey, I really need Shannon to come home. It's Dad, he just got released. I just want to say, I love that at least one person in this book has good parents, because Johnny's parents are so good. Like, his dad just sat in the kitchen for 3 hours talking to him about Shannon and how nervous he is about her dad. So they were about to sleep together and Johnny stopped it again, and he's like, I don't want to do it at your house after school using your brother's condom. Like, I want it to be, when we sleep together, we're gonna sleep together. And he goes, all night. Okay. They almost got caught while Johnny was giving her a head. By Darren, of course, because he's literally in everything. He drives me nuts. I hate Darren. I love Johnny's mom. She literally cracks me up. He was like, he said, they were talking about something and he goes, I'm almost 18. She said, don't remind me, and starts crying. Ignore my washer, it's being dramatic right now, but there's just a scene where Gibbsy is like talking to Claire and he like throws her over his shoulder and it was so fucking cute. And then Shannon and Johnny are like, you're not gonna do that to me, are you? And they're just like, I'm just beyond excited because they're both so happy, and I can't wait for Claire and Gibbsy's book because they're so cute. I can't take this. Why did Shannon and Johnny just walk in on his parents having sex? Hey guys, so I finally finished Keeping 13. It's a couple days later, and I just wanted to go over it with you guys, and I wrote down a lot of notes, so this will probably be a big section, but obviously I gave it a 5 stars. I honestly didn't expect it to be any less than that. Absolutely love this series. I can't wait to start the other books. These books are pretty chunky for me. It takes me a while to read them, so I probably will be reading a little smaller books just to cleanse my palate, and then I will continue with The Saving, Redeeming 6, and Taming 7, which I'm super excited about. But let's go ahead and get into some notes that I wrote down. So Shannon ends up seeing her dad in the car with another woman, which didn't surprise me. I figured he wouldn't be loyal to her with everything that he puts her through anyway. And then Johnny and Shannon's dad got in a fight because Shannon's dad was being Shannon's dad and Johnny was protecting her. Johnny took Shannon's little brothers to McDonald's because he seen that they were hungry, which was super sweet. And then the kids were eating cake because he brought the kids to his house after he gave them McDonald's, and Johnny's parents were being so sweet to them. And this part was so funny. So Shannon starts shaving her downstairs because they're obviously active, and she gets she gets shave burn. So Johnny like puts aloe on it, and it was very like sexual. And then Johnny's mom proceeded to catch them having sex, which was very funny. And in a flashback, they showed that Darren tried to save Joey and Shannon from their father, which kind of explains why Darren is so protective over their mother, because he kind of seen the beginning of it happening. And then Bella talks about Shannon's dad and makes fun of her for it and wipes food all over her. And it proceeds to go into a big fight. Joey hits Johnny in the face because Shannon got hurt and Joey's girlfriend stopped him. And I don't know how to say Joey's girlfriend's name, so I'm just going to call her A because I really don't want to slaughter this name. But A hit Bella because Bella was being a bitch. And Joey got arrested for hitting Cormac, which I think Cormac is a teacher, I want to say. So after all that happened, Darren admitted to Johnny that he was wrong about him, and he apologized to Johnny. And Johnny's dad gets Joey out of trouble, but Joey does get expelled for, I think, the rest of the year. And Johnny's parents tell him that they want to foster Shannon and her brothers. And one night, Shannon comes home, and Shannon's mom slapped Joey and then left, and Joey left. And Shannon's dad shows up. So the reason why Joey Shannon's mom slapped Joey's because he's like telling her that she's worthless and she doesn't care about her kids. He's just fed up, and Johnny goes into the house to get Shannon and the boys because Shannon texts her that her dad showed up, and Johnny is leaving the house, and Shannon's mom's like whispers to him like, just get my kids out. So he says, I'll come back for you. And Shannon's dad ends up burning down the house, and Shannon's mom is in there too, so both of her parents die, which was a huge plot twist. I did not see that coming. And Johnny ends up feeling really guilty that he couldn't get their mom out of the house, so he just needs something to distract him, so he starts building this tree house, and Gibbsy's like, well, if you're building this tree house, then we're building this tree house. And he calls up all of his friends to help him build this tree house, and it is so sweet. And we get an update that Joey's going through withdrawals, so they end up bringing him to rehab. And I loved this quote. It says, "You saved my life, Johnny. You saved my brother's lives." And he goes, "Yeah, well, you saved mine a long time ago." Which was so sweet. And at the funeral, I thought this was super sweet. Johnny and Gibbsy are one of the pallbearers for Shannon's mom. And Joey and A, which is his girlfriend, I said that they were so sweet, and they had this conversation about rehab, and he was like, don't wait for me, I don't want you to be sad. She's like, I'm gonna wait for you, I love you. And it was just so sweet. I can't wait for their book. I think that's the next book. And Johnny ends up having to leave for a month to play rugby, and Lizzie and Gibbsy get in an argument, and Lizzie pushes Gibbsy in the water. But what she doesn't know is he's scared of water because his little sister drowned when they were little. And Johnny ends up getting drunk, and he's kind of embarrassing himself a little bit, but nothing really came of that. He just kept saying things like he was a player and like about his past, and Shannon's like, okay, thanks for the information, like. And finally, when Johnny has to go play for rugby, Gibbsy is like a mess. He's even more of a mess than Shannon was, which I thought was hilarious. And Shannon ends up running into Bella, and she tells her that she forgives her. She hopes she finds peace. And Johnny eventually ends up declining the contract that he was offered by rugby. I think it's a college, guys. I don't know. I kind of checked out when it came to the sports, okay? And so he kind of played for that month, and then he decided to take a year off because he wanted to just be a kid, just be a teenager and have fun. And the book ends with Joey showing up to Tommen, and he's going to school there. I absolutely love this book, guys. Oh, I can't take it. I loved it so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified every time I post. Thank you guys so much for watching.